Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, what is shaking, everybody? Another ep of the Complete Fitness Podcast is here. Thank you so much for listening. Wherever you are doing so, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the other ones that I always forget, and YouTube. The YouTube, as I mentioned last time, the views are minuscule. That's okay. Our goal is for it to grow. And to be honest, I don't care where you hear this. If you hear it anywhere, I am happy. Corey feels the same way, obviously. But if you want to share this with somebody who might not be the most technologically sound, YouTube's the way to go. So send them that video. It's always posted right from our Facebook page, and then like our Facebook page. It'll help us. It's all algorithms. Everything is based off an algorithm on the internet now. So small things like a like or a subscription or whatever just helps the whole thing kind of get pushed up into the world where more and more people can see. You know, if they expressed interest in fitness in any way and live in this general area, and not even live in this general area, but they will see our Facebook page pop up as suggestions just simply by more and more people liking it, kind of as that umbrella grows. So that's how it would be helpful. We appreciate it. It is January 1st. 2nd. Yesterday was January 1st. Today's January 2nd. You're hearing this January 3rd or beyond. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2024. Insanity. 23 was crazy. Crazy fast, I meant to say. I should complete my whole thought. Maybe it was crazy, but it was crazy fast. It's insane. I was just talking with Chelsea, actually, our coach here. And Rowan will be 2 in April. Now it's the end of April. It's basically 5 months away still. But it's insane that he's coming up on 2. I feel like we just had his first birthday. And not to mention, he was born. So 2 is coming up already for us. And it's the start of spring, April 29th. I always like that. He's kind of this, you know, the feeling with him is the start of spring and out of the winter months, which is just an amazing feeling in general. You know, I'm a big feeling guy. So when I think spring, I'm always going to think about my baby boy being born. My baby boy who is sick currently. He is getting better. He's on the mend. We spent our New Year's and Christmas, the week between Christmas and New Year, which is always that kind of forgotten but fun, ultimately fun day because you're so out of schedule and out of routine that you're really having a lot of fun. At least I do usually at this time of year, just because it's, you know, it's time away from work. It's time away from doing the stuff you kind of have to do. And you get to just take a break from it all, see a lot of friends, family, stay up late, do whatever, yada, yada, yada. You get the point. However, for us this year, that's not how the cards fell. We were just stuck in our house. Chandis was sick the week before Christmas. Rowan was sick the week before that. Rowan got sick again that week between Christmas, and he's just finally on the mend. This is day 7. Technically, last Tuesday is when he started showing symptoms. I guess it was like last Tuesday night. Anyway, progressively got worse. Took him to urgent care on Saturday, Sunday. You know, they checked all the stuff, made sure his lungs were okay and ears weren't bothering him, and all that stuff was great. So it was just this crazy, crazy head cold, flu, whatever you want to call it. He had it, and it was just brutal. It was everlasting. Because at 7 days, he's still not fully out of the woods yet. But yesterday he was better. Today he's better. But the first 5 days, it was just like, you know, you kind of wake up, you do everything you can to keep a baby comfortable, and then you kind of just go to bed thinking, all right, he's going to wake up tomorrow better. We made it through the day, and it just kept not happening. Every single day was the next, blah, he's still here. Blah, he's still sick. And that means everything's thrown off. Naps, bedtime, eating, fussiness, just general activity, what to do. So it was a long week Didn't really get to do what I normally love doing and see a bunch of friends and family and get out, although I did a little bit. Not about me. Everyone's happy and healthy now going into 2024, and that is the important thing. I love New Year's time. We get about 2 weeks of fun time here with a lot of optimism. It's the new year. But then it gets, for me personally, the nitty gritty of the winter, especially here in Michigan. It's brutal. There's not much to look forward to until spring, April. So we just got to tough it out. The one thing that is different this year is our football teams are good, baby. Go Lions and go Blue. Going to the national championship a week from yesterday are the Michigan Wolverines. So that'll be exciting. A lot of different schools that you might root for if you live around here. And of course, if you don't. But the Lions, Detroit Lions, we are on the cusp of a devastating loss from the Dallas Cowboys that we won. It's been admitted the referees made a mistake. There's video evidence, all this stuff. So it sucks because it's going to ultimately affect us. However, the real battle was won there. We're still making the playoffs. We're still going to get a home game. We might go right back to Dallas and play them round 2 if we win. And what we showed is that we beat them. So it's not like it's some crazy thing. I hope we get to play them again. And I think we got a real shot at being in that NFC championship game. Now, a lot can happen. Things can go wrong, injuries, or just not playing your best football. And that doesn't happen, of course. I'm not suggesting. But it's an exciting time. If you're a football fan, I've never had this much excitement. And I'm really looking forward to national championship, of course. Go Blue. That would be sweet to see one of those. 97 was when it happened last. I was 5. I don't even remember. So, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. And then, of course, the Lions, we know. Twice my lifetime it hasn't happened. So, I don't remember any of that. Why did I bring up football besides the fact that I love it? Oh, because it gives us a kind of an escape. It gives us something to do. So, yeah, we were stuck at home, but we were able to find, my wife included, we were able to find a lot of kind of breaks when Rowan was sleeping, or even when he wasn't. He would, be more controlled laying on the couch. He'd fall asleep on the couch sometimes, and we just watched a lot of football together. And really, in a time when we were both kind of cabin fevery and stir crazy and not the happiest, I think she would agree with me, just because you're just stuck in the house, can't do anything, can't go anywhere. And then on top of being stuck in the house, you're also trying to keep something that is 100% fussing and uncomfortable comfortable. So it's taxing. And also, Chan just didn't feel good for half the time. I, by some grace of God, have felt okay. However, I got some hearing happening in this ear. My hearing is different in this ear and in this ear. Chan just had an ear infection. Not getting ahead of myself, but if it's my turn now, I can't do it. I can't be sick now. So I won't be. And that's just the fact. I will not accept it. No matter how sick I get, I will act as if everything's 100% fine. But it's not going to happen. So, 2024, it's also the beginning of January, the beginning of before February, March, and it gets to that kind of dog days of winter that we just kind of grind it out through when it's cold and dark all the time. There's a lot of optimism in the air. I hope you are feeling optimistic. We know New Year's resolutions. We've talked at length about how New Year's resolutions are frustrating. Don't necessarily love them. Don't necessarily love hearing them. But I do love hearing is the optimism and the approach. But it's, of course, important. It's the most important thing. It's the only thing. Otherwise, it's just words. Is to prioritize and keep headstrong this goal of yours. If you have a goal, it's not make-believe. It's not because someone else is putting it in your mind, not someone else saying you're unhappy and you want to change the way you feel, change the way you look, you want to do that. It's you. And so own that, and live your life for that. That's what the whole thing is. That's what living life is. It's to have a goal and accomplish it in whatever facet it may be, and the goal can be ever changing. But a lot of us in America, 60% obesity rate, don't like the way we feel, don't like the way we look, and it is something that we can be doing to change. A lot of us. And if you want to, be honest, be sincere. That's my biggest, push towards these resolutions. Be honest and sincere with yourself. It's not going to be perfect. You're never going to just go, starting January 1st, I'm going to be in the gym every single day. I'm going to eat chicken and broccoli and rice. And in 3 months' time, I'm going to be down 50 pounds, and then I'm never going to put it back on. I'm just going to keep this going for. It's never been realistic. You right now don't even think that's realistic. It's what you want, okay? But why not go for what you want, right? What you want can be totally different than this made-up idea in your mind, but what you want is also something you should absolutely live your life to achieve. Make it a priority. Get it what you want, right? In many ways relating to this football thing I just talked about. If these players want to win a championship, that is their life right now. And I sure hope it is, because I want to. And if I want to more than they want to, that's a problem. I probably do, but that's my own obsession. Do live for what you want, you know? I think a lot of us go, well, it's just what I want, so it's back burner, and you can live and do other things, and there's a time and place for it. Yes, you need to put yourself on the back burner. No, you don't always get what you want, but in a weird way, we're not living if we're not constantly working towards something that we want, constantly working towards a goal. We're just waiting, and this is another thing I've said at length at this podcast. We can spend a lot of our life waiting, and it's not that every single day you're going to be in the gym and every single day you're going to have a perfect diet, but 5 times out of 6, you know what I mean? 5 times out of 7 days, you do that, things are going to work in your favor. And it becomes easy when you have it be a priority and don't shy away from getting what you want in a weird way. Like if you deep down don't like the way you look or don't like the way you feel, and health and fitness is something that you have your mindset on, or sober January is coming, you're not going to drink in January, and it's something that you want, stop all the other stuff, stop all the other distractions, and really hone in on what you want. And I think what a lot of us will be surprised to hear and learn about us and find out, that when we do have a task that we are working for, that we want, that isn't the easiest thing, life kind of becomes more fun. You have this goal, you have this intrinsic drive. And so every day when you wake up for work, you're back in the routine. You drive your kids everywhere, you're back in routine. You're eating your boring lunch, you're back in routine. It kind of becomes exciting because you're starting to see these results happen, and you're going for that long-term want. You're going for that Super Bowl. And one day it's going to all pay off for you. You know, when we don't have this carrot that we're chasing, this end goal, we kind of float. We kind of wait through life. And it kind of allows our mind to be focused on I'm just at work again. I spend my whole time driving my kids everywhere. Another meal. Another. And you kind of lose the allure almost of what living and life is, and it's fun. You know, you kind of take the fun away from it. Maybe that's me being competitive, and liking that carrot. I want to be chasing something, but if I don't have it, I tend to struggle. I'm not as content basically with life. Not that everything's wrong and I'm some miserable person or anything like that, but I struggle on the day-to-day to just kind of getting through it. Days feel longer because everything is this task, this stuff I have to be doing, when otherwise I will still be accomplishing the same stuff, but I'm focused on this goal of mine. It makes it fun, makes it really fun. I didn't do that this last year, and I'm regretting it, and I'm going to this year. So Another thing we've talked about on this podcast at length, I say that every podcast, I will continue to say that every single podcast. When I turned 30, Rowan was born that same year, and I ran a marathon that year, and that's what I did. 2021, January 1st, we were up north, siblings weekend with my wife and in-laws, and I woke up and I bought my whatever it's called, ticket, membership, pass to the Detroit Marathon. And I said, okay, this is the year that I have a baby in April. In October, I turned 30. And basically the same day, I don't remember, but it's mid-October, it's the same thing. I'm going to run a marathon, and I'm going to accomplish all this by the time I'm 30, technically. And it was a really fun year of my life. It was hard. It was the hardest year of my life for sure. With the addition of a baby, I think anybody who starts that chapter of their life agrees. Oh boy, life just got serious. What I thought was busy wasn't anything. And so I think it was the hardest year of my life, but it was such a fun year. And I had these big accomplishing goals and this driving force, and I was tired because of the baby stuff and having to fit in marathon training, which was very hard to do. It's hard enough to balance any type of schedule, but to work, to marathon train, to become a dad, figure out what that is, still be, very supportive to my wife who was becoming a mom and figuring all of that out too. On top of everything else that still happens in life. It was very hard. Fast forward to last year, turned 31. As you do each year, you age another year. Rowan turned 1. We're into his toddler phase now. There's different things, different quirks that are challenging, way more challenging than when he was an infant. There's other things that are way easier from than when he was an infant. So it's just ever changing. But I didn't have my goal. My goal was more or less stay in shape, keep working, and keep figuring out this dad thing. And that was good enough for me. But I didn't challenge myself. I did not. I didn't have a carrot out in front of me. I didn't have a Super Bowl. I didn't have this end thing that I was working towards to accomplish in that year of 2023. Oh, I got my years. I said 2021. I meant 2022, then 2023, and now we're at the start of 2024. But yeah, 2023 was a fine year. Can't complain. Everyone's happy and healthy. It's the best. But there was some trials and tribulations as years have, and I just think a lot of the year I spent waiting. I kind of floated a little bit. I did a lot of waiting, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in life that you can't control. We lost my grandpa, which was very sad. He's my first grandparent to lose. Very, very lucky that I'm 31 years old and had 4 grandparents up until just a few months ago. That was a challenge, kind of my real first experience with death, experienced loss, of course. I've grieved, of course, but death is different. But a lot of the stuff was kind of floated through, I feel. And I think a lot of the reason it was just kind of floated through was because I lost track of what my personal goal was going to be. I didn't have a goal. Even with work, showing up to work every day and working and trying to grow. And I started doing a lot of personal work stuff on like social media and started adding that, which was really out of my comfort zone. I did not enjoy doing that. Still don't, if I'm being honest, sometimes. And I implemented that, but that, that's not enough. That's just more work. I wanted to, there wasn't a clear goal and focus and hustle. And that hustle, I think, is what living actually is. And I think a lot of us get intimidated, at least me, to think of a hustle. because then you got to hold yourself to it. And there's going to be days you don't want to do it. And it's like, well, I also have my job. I also have my family. I also have this. I also have that. Do I really want to add something else? And when you look at it that way, no. Who in their right mind would add something that could add another stressor or add another whatever? But at the same time, in the big picture of life, that is what life is. Otherwise, you just have a year where nothing happened. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. Career's in a good spot, kids, and all you're doing is just, you watch your kids grow, or you watch your company grow, or you watch whatever, and it's pretty organic and it's an easy year. But a lot of our personal growth stops during those years too. And it's our responsibility to get that carrot out in front of us, to find something. So if it's physical, like running a marathon, if it's work related, like football players winning a Super Bowl, if it's career driven, if it's personal life driven, if it's, it might be one thing. I made the joke about skydiving. I want to skydive, and maybe it'll be my 40th birthday thing, and I'm terrified to do it, but I know I'll do it in my life. I know I will, because I need to know what it feels like to free fall. I need to know that feeling before I die. I don't know why. A lot of people probably don't agree, but I don't know. I just think people like, oh, there's the squeaky chair again. We have, time on this planet and the human experience. Shouldn't you experience nearly everything you possibly can? A lot of experiences aren't good, so I said nearly. But in a way, that's what makes life awesome too, right? The fact that you get to you didn't have to get, and I'm getting way too deep on this one. You don't even have to know what it feels like to be sad. That is something that you had the opportunity of. You think of how big the universe is, or whatever you believe in, faith, religion. You get to have a human experience and understand what it's like to have a human conscience and feeling what it's like to feel euphoric, what it feels like to be amazing, what it feels like to be sad, what it feels like to be angry. You get to feel those things. Sorry, little tangent there, but that's pretty cool. Most things don't get to experience that. We all won a crazy lottery ticket by being a human being on Earth. So it's kind of a nice little cheap optimism way to kind of ground yourself if you are feeling, the effects of life. If it's hard, if it's sad, if it's the grind, like the grind of picking it back up in January after this time. I was just texting my buddies about it. It's hard. It's a hard grind to get back to reality, as we say. Especially in the winter. It's brutal that those are stacked up against us. So yeah, find that. My suggestion to you, if you are serious about making a change, especially with health and fitness, if you want it, you want it. If you don't want it, you don't. That's a whole nother thing, and that's when all of the other big things come. The big quote is, if you don't make time for your wellness, you're going to have to make time for your illness. Or if you think joining a gym is expensive, wait till the medical bills come in from being, sick or whatever's going on. All of those big sayings that has to do with that will to want. So I think a lot of us, unfortunately, do not like the way. It's more important how we feel, not so much how you look. That's obviously a big part of it. If you don't like the way you look, you're not going to like the way you feel. But a lot of us don't feel good. Our joints hurt, our back hurts. We feel like we can't live life. We can't do things. You can't go up and down the stairs. You can't, go for a long walk. And if that is you, you do not have to live that way. And that's just the nature of it. You do not have to. And as you experience this life, once you want to make a change, remember that want, and remember it's more important than the short term. And it's good for you, and it's good for your life to have the carrot dangling in front of you. We need it. We need to have something. And maybe it's not anything to do with health and fitness. Maybe it's all relationships. Maybe there's a big relationship that you want to mend or gain. You want to find your future spouse. You want to change your life dramatically. And 2024 can be a good launching point to kind of view, what am I going to do this year? I'm 31 until October. What am I going to do in my 31st year? And to be honest, I haven't decided yet for 2024. And that's okay with me. Something's going to come. And what I do know is I need something, and I'm going to do it. And it's going to be daunting. It's going to be hard. And I'm not going to want to, but I'm going to do it because I look back at the last 2 years, 2022, hardest year of my life, probably. Best year of my life. Definitely. Last year, not as hard, not as great. I mean, you don't want to ever say a year was bad because you're lucky to have had a year, but yeah, there was when I look back at the things of what 2023 brought, versus 2022, or the emotional aspect, or when I look at the grant, when I'm hopefully one day 100 years old and I look back at my life, I'm going to go, I remember when I turned 30. Oh yeah, that was when my son was born. That was when Rowan was born. I'll be telling his kids this, hopefully. Yeah, that was when your dad was born and I ran a marathon and your mom couldn't stand it because I was gone all the time. Just kidding. Candace was great, very supportive. Always is. I make jokes about her all the time. It's not true. She really genuinely is. It sounds like I'm joking now again, further. That's what happens when I'm just sarcastic all the time. But that's it. A little bit of a sincere podcast coming at you this morning. I hope you found it well, and I hope you rechannel and focus and be honest with yourself. It's just you. It's just personal. You don't have to go tell, somebody that this is what you want. But if there's something you want, you have one life. You have one life, and it can get clouded with other wants. You can get a lot of what you want, but you should get everything you friggin' want. Unless it's hurting other people. Why not? You got your life. Go do it. All right. Love you guys. Happy New Year. We will see you soon. Core 4 supplements, 99%. 99. Spend $99. Get free shipping. And then 10%. Use promo code podcast. Again, like our stuff. Subscribe to our stuff. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. I hope you continue to listen. 2024 is going to be a big year. Bye-bye.